Hello, good morning. Bright and early, 8 a.m., right on the dot, or at least pretty close. Excellent. Good morning, friends and family. Anyone joining in? If I haven't met you yet, hello. Welcome to some yoga with Janelle, to my little home studio. So I haven't welcomed you into my home yet. Welcome. Great to have you with me. Today is Tuesday for me, which means Happy Hips Day. That's really the only important part. So even if it's not a Tuesday while you're watching, all you gotta remember is we're gonna get grooving with the hips. So good. Is that Doreen again? Good morning. Wow, you're just so on top of things. Way to go. Way to be so consistent. Here's your shout out for consistency. So, fitting it in live. That's really fun too. So yeah, Happy Hips Day today is what we have shaken. What's going on? I've got a tasty little coffee here this morning. So I'm trying out a new blend. I wasn't sure how I felt about it yesterday, but today we're feeling pretty good. So let's journey on down, start to get comfy. Got a little sunshine right on me. That's really nice. Really good. So yes, coming into that starting position where you can start to notice your body. Notice how you're feeling. Notice those areas that feel really good. Notice those shadow areas, those areas that still hold some tension. Maybe you're just kind of getting up or doing your morning routine. You're not fully awake yet, or maybe you've been up for a couple hours and you're just like, yeah, okay, let's ready to go. And just starting to notice into that. We have that little bit of that fuzzy feeling of, I don't want to say stiffness, but just that fuzz that you haven't quite woken up yet first thing in the morning. It's actually your fascia, your connective tissue. It actually needs a big old stretch, a little bit of movement to wake up and get going. So that's why you hear like good morning stretches, that arms up overhead and you're reaching up nice and tall. That is all to wake up your fascia. Kind of gets everything going, especially if you do it standing or laying down, where you can get the legs involved as well. So that's what we're here to work on as well, is waking up that connective tissue so you don't have any of those restrictions. You have full range of motion as you go through tasks throughout your day, and everything feels wonderful and good. At least that is my hope. That is my goal, but I know that that's not necessarily reality. So we do our very best in trying to get there. It's at least one step in that direction. So as you're sitting down or laying down and you're noticing, finding those little subtleties within the body, you are more than welcome to have a little movement or adjust. You've got really tight shoulders. Maybe you want to roll your shoulders back and down. That'll create some openness through the front, through the collarbone, through the chest, where if you're like a side sleeper or if you're on your phone a lot or typing or driving, your shoulders will naturally just start to slouch in, and gravity will eventually just take over and you'll start to slouch more and more, which is really hard on your neck. So now you're overarching, you've got the little turtleneck where your chin sticks out to keep that same line of vision. And then you got that huge hump happening on your back through your spine. So take a little moment, find some length, find a little bit more of a proper posture, even if you're laying down. Just start to settle into that. Maybe kind of pull the belly button in and press that low back out a little bit, that little tuck of the pelvis or the tailbone, letting it feel pretty good there, waking everything up. Is that Ella? Eliza? I don't have it on my phone, so I don't see when people join in, only when they comment. So welcome if you're passing by or joining in. I'm seeing comments happen here, but Ella, good morning. Welcome. Thank you for the comment. That lets me know you're here. That's so cool. I love that. So yeah, let's just create a little bit more space, a little bit of room for a big breath. I keep trying to take a sip of coffee, so I'm just going to do it. We'll sneak in 2 sips. Tide me over for a bit. So in whatever position or posture you have found yourself in, hopefully you found some decent posture, you're starting to find a little bit of openness, you're finding those tight areas and those areas that feel really good. And let's start to connect in with the breath. even by me probably saying the word breath, you probably started to notice yours. And you've probably already started to change yours because you know that I'm going to talk about big, deep breathing. So you're probably already talking or breathing a little deeper. But let's really start to have awareness of maybe where you started off with and the changes that we can make to bring that a little bit deeper. And so one of my favorite breaths is that 3-part breathing where you notice the journey of the breath. That's kind of how I like to describe it. You start to notice the breath kind of at the top. I feel like that's the easiest part to notice because lots of times that's just where we hang out. It's just kind of in like this collarbone section of throat on top of the lungs for breathing. Lots of times we're not engaging in our rib cage, expanding it in and out, but that's the next step. So as you take that big breath in, let's start to breathe into that rib cage and see if you can breathe to the bottom of the lungs, starting to expand it outwards, and take that exhale and let it go. Now let's come into that 3rd part, into the abdomen, into the belly button. So we're going to start at the top, breathing in just through that collarbone area, then breathing into the rib cage, and keep that breath going down using the diaphragm and breathing into the abdominals, into that abdomen, taking a huge breath. See if you can even breathe into that low back. Don't let it just be a front body thing. And see if you can use the posterior side, the back side of the body. Take that big breath, and if you haven't let it go, let it go. Take a huge exhale. Really see if you can start to squeeze all of that air out of you, almost like you're getting into a little panic zone of like, I'm really gonna need a breath. Keep breathing out, take that last little and then start that big journey inwards, taking that huge inhale and breathing into those 3 parts. There's no official guideline for having to fill top, middle, bottom. If you want to try filling bottom, middle, top, then you're welcome to play around with that as well. And just bringing some extra awareness there. I usually always start by cueing top, middle, bottom. But it's really fun to just try to expand just the abdomen in and out. And then do abdomen and rib cage, making that breath a little fuller. And then taking just that huge inhale and exhale. And there's also no official rule for how you take that exhale when letting it out. You can do top to bottom or bottom to top, totally your choice. So just start to notice as you take those huge breaths, how are you breathing? Taking some time, connecting in. If as you're breathing here, you're wanting to set an intention for our time, our class together, you're more than welcome to set that intention now. What is your purpose for this class? What brings you into it? What are you hoping to get out of it maybe? A little goal, having an end goal. Might be something physical, a little more flexibility, maybe release some muscle tension. Might be a little mental or emotional. You want to find a little joy, find a little peace, embrace some calm. Whatever it is, let it be true for you. I throw out suggestions and you can pick and choose however you so desire. So let's seal that in with one more giant breath in. So getting ready, taking that nice big inhale, breathing in, feeling everything fill up, feeling that expansion. You might even notice you're getting a little taller. Huge breath in, all of the air is in the lungs, in the diaphragm. And exhale nice and slowly. Let's start to let it out. Everything pulls back in. Take that exhale. Feel that softness. And start to wiggle into fingers and toes. And starting to wake up the body. Just coming back into that physical. If you were really kind of using that intuitive sense, going inward. Maybe the mind was wandering. Sorry if I talk too much for that to happen. But I like it. I like sharing my little knowledge that I have. I'm going to take a nice good morning stretch, reaching my hands up overhead, finding a little bit of length. Let it feel really good. On the exhale, just let the arms relax. Let's take one more of those nice big inhales if you're laying down. Maybe you want to kick the legs out, pointing through the toes if you're just seated. Just find all of that length, and not only through the arms, but through the underarms, through the rib cage, lengthening through the spine. So good. And exhale. If you're laying down, let's roll on up to seated, making your way onto your sits bones. Maybe pull a little flesh away to feel that really rooting down sensation. Never comment. I always forget to make it big. Maybe if I, hang on. Yeah. Hey, good morning, Donna. That's what's happening over here. Okay, something like that. Okay, now I can see comments real big. I zoomed in on the screen. I figured it out. Still can't quite read it from here. I should wear my glasses. But hopefully now we're all in seated. Letting it feel really good. I'm just going to adjust my seat, bringing ankle towards ankle. I just want a little variety. Sometimes I stack my legs. Sometimes I have them in front. And today I'm going for the nice wide knee. Ankle in front of ankle. If you always sit the exact same way, here's my challenge for you to mix it up a little bit. And let's keep moving with that breath, and let's start to sweep those arms up. Take that nice big inhale, reach it up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take just a few of these as we warm up through the shoulders, a little bit through the spine. You just can't focus only on the hip area. You gotta kind of get the whole body. Thanks to connective tissue, everything is connected anyways. Make it feel really good. One more, reach up, exhale, pull the hands to heart, beautiful. Just taking a little moment, hands at heart, pressing into the hands, let's start to activate into the arms a little bit, have a little squeeze of the shoulder blades, pressing into the fingers, excellent. And just hanging out here, let's just start to tip over towards the left. So keeping those hands at heart center, maybe you can bring elbow down to the leg. If you don't get there, that's fine. If you do get there, you can even plant it in. Actively press into the hands here to roll that top shoulder open, gaze goes up. If you want a little more, you can reach that right arm up. If you want a little more still, you can reach for opposite knee or hip or just anywhere across the body. Just a nice little way to keep bringing that shoulder down towards the body. Gaze goes up. This is one of my favorite, kind of incorporates a touch of a twist in with a side bend. It's all about finding openness through that right side of the body. So you want one more breath here, pull the ears away from the shoulders, and on that exhale, let's come on back towards center. Bring the hands in, heart center, so good. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, let's tip over towards the right. Just starting maybe to touch that elbow down. You can touch it in right close to the body. You can be up more on the knee. Really dealer's choice. Letting it feel good. If you do get that connection, press into the hands. Spin that left shoulder a little bit more open. Option to reach up. Opening up through the shoulder a little bit more. You'll start to get a little more pull through that left side of the body. And if you want even more, reaching across the body and keep dropping that right shoulder down. Beautiful, nice big inhale. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. And exhale. And start to drop it down. Coming back towards center. Untwisting, roll those shoulders back and down. Let's switch the feet. And just coming into the opposite foot in front or on top. Feeling that nice connection. That non-dominant side, maybe it feels super weird, or maybe you're used to mixing these up a little bit. Starting to feel a little more comfortable on that non-dominant side. Let's inhale, reach the arms up and hold there just for a little bit. So we're reaching the arms up. Oftentimes I just put my hands straight down to heart center, but today we're just going to flip the palms outward and come back down. So that's our exhale. So inhales, bring the hands, palms facing up, reach on up. Exhale, palms flip going down, pulling the hands down. So we'll take just a few more of these, warming up through the shoulders. Exhales down, connecting in with that breath. And keep an eye on those floating ribs. Are you really puffing them out as you start to reach the arms up? And that's really super common. Pull that belly button in towards the spine. Keep that nice connection. We'll take one more. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bring the hands down. So good. Roll those shoulders back, sitting as tall as you possibly can, reaching for opposite knee. Hand reaches out in front and starts to spin all the way around. Maybe it presses in behind you like that second spine right by the tailbone. Take that inhale and lengthen. Exhale, really embrace the twist. Starting to rotate all the way through the hips, through the spine, through the shoulders, pressing one back, one forward, and gazing over that back shoulder. Take one more inhale and we'll lengthen. Exhale and hold. Then at the end of that next breath, as you start to exhale, let's spin it back towards center. Finding that nice length and reaching now for opposite knee, coming in to twist on the other side. Hand reaches out in front and starts to spin all the way around as you start to twist. Reaching that hand back behind you. Inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, really twist into it. Letting it feel good. Noticing your cup of coffee and stealing another sip should you want to. Beautiful. And take one more inhale, get as tall as you can. Exhale, maybe you deepen, maybe you just hold. And at the end of that next exhale, let's start to unwind, coming back towards center. Beautiful. Upper body's nice and warmed up. Let's start to warm up through the legs and through the hips. So let's roll into our all fours positions. Coming into that nice tabletop. Stacking hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the feet. Nope, knees underneath the hips. That's the right thing. You take that nice inhale breath, just quick little look up. Exhale, round through the spine. We'll just take one more complete one of those, so that we'll inhale, looking up, drop the belly down. Exhale, find that nice anchored cat, and then make your way to neutral, nice flat back. So good. So keeping that length through the head, see if you can roll your shoulders back and down here. Maybe even bring your hands just a little bit closer towards the knees. Most times we hang out here thinking that our shoulders are in line with our wrists, and really it wasn't until I got a mirror or a video and I saw a screen and then I noticed that my hands were just actually not quite in the right position. So my fingers are nice and wide to have all of that nice surface area. Right foot kicks back, toes touch down, and roll that right hip down. So we're going to play around with this motion a little bit of opening up through the hip and rolling that hip down. So if you want to start, just open it up. You'll notice that your toes will probably start to point outwards, and as you roll down, your toes point down. So just being aware of everything that's moving in the body. You can keep that right hand planted down, or if you want a little more balance challenge, you can reach it up and plant it back down. So as you roll it open, you're coming into a little bit of your little gate posture. And rolling it back down. You'll actually feel this a little bit more on that left hip, because that's where the pivot is happening from. There's that standing leg. Finding that openness. You can really take your time with these. If you want to hold this for a little bit, and then nice and slowly roll it down and hold it, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to take one more, reaching it up, stacking hip over hip. And planting it down, rolling that hip down. Excellent. Still pressing into my hands, so take a little moment, find that reset, pressing into those back toes. Still extending the crown of the head nice and tall. And take that exhale, pull the belly button in, and start to float the foot up. Excellent. Now let's inhale, just take a little open, just spin the toes out, so we're not really pressing in, coming all the way up. Take that exhale, round it down. Let's bring a bend to that knee, heel kicks up, and just start to swing the knee towards the right wrist. And let's kick it back up. Give that wrist a little tap. Even if you don't get there, if it's just swinging the leg, you can go for elbow. If you want a little bit more squeeze, pulling that knee in nice and tight, kicking it up nice and high. We got one more here, so kicking it up, knee to the wrist. So good. Bring it up and hold. Excellent. Let's open up through the knee now. So toes pointing off to the side. Getting ready to come into our little spider pulses. So the knee is coming out kind of towards the shoulder, and kick it back and squeeze it in. This is using those obliques, but also finding that openness through the hips. So keep trying to keep the knee up as high as you can here. Squeezing it in. We got two more. We can do it. Nice big squeeze. Then extend it. And one more nice squeeze in. Send the foot nice and long, straightening through the knee. Drop the knee down. And take that nice little sway, pushing one hip out. And the next. You can keep it real gentle, just gonna be a sway for the spine. But if you really start to push the hip out, you might notice a little IT band stretch. Just starting to notice different muscles in the hips. Starting to be nice and active. Beautiful. Let's come to our stillness. Excellent. Left toes go back. Touching the toes down. Beautiful. Let's start to just rotate that hip open. So you can just plant the heel. That works great. Roll that hip down. And if you want, you can use those inhales to open up through the hip. Exhales to roll that hip back down. Maybe you start to lift that left hand up. Going for a little balance. Rolling it down. Just moving through a few of these here. These are some of my favorite. I love gate poses here, nice and open, so nice and strong. Be so nice and stable. Creating that openness. Use the collarbone as you reach that arm up. Taking these nice little dips. Rolling that hip back down. Beautiful. We'll take just a few more. If you want to really slow it down, you're welcome to. Or maybe you have been all along. That's great. Wonderful way to modify. I'm going to take just one more here. So can't resist. I just love this. Reach it up. Make sure the head is far from the shoulders. Beautiful. Exhale. Drop that head down. Roll back onto those toes, squaring that hip down with the ground. Pressing into those hands. Inhale and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, engage the core. Float the foot up. Beautiful. Bring a little bend to the knee. Foot goes up in the air. And bring knee towards left wrist. Or just kind of swinging it through. You're going to need a nose. You can go across the body, need a right wrist. Just kind of creating a little bit of motion. Maybe finding a little bit of heat. Starting to just feel through the body. Notice as you kick up though, don't let the belly and everything fall in. Try to keep that core pulled in. Might be using it, might be getting really strong here. Or I think there's one more. Knee to wrist. Kick it back up. So good, let's find that openness. Starting to point the toes towards the left. Knee comes up as high as you can. And let's squeeze it towards the shoulder for 5. Kick it back out. Squeeze it in. Kick it back out. Keep that belly button pulled in. Stay nice and strong. Notice, are you holding your breath? Excellent. One more here. Bringing it in. Sending it along. And drop that knee down. Take that nice little sway from side to side. Excellent. Lots of times as we're working through our hips, it feels really good to stretch them. That can relieve some tension. But if we never take some time to build some strength through those muscles, the problem will just keep repeating itself. So those were little strength building exercises. Beautiful. Let's find some stillness. Let's bring those knees nice and wide. And either just walking the hands forward to take your puppy pose, or sitting the sits bones back to take your child's pose. Whichever you prefer here, your choice. I really like the child's pose. I find it nice and restorative. But if you find it really hard on your knees, that puppy pose might be a wonderful variation for you. Taking that little moment, settling in. Taking that little reset button. One more nice big inhale, breathing it in nice and big. And exhale, start to release. Let's start to press into those hands. Come on back, up. Let's tuck those toes under and send the hips up into the ground. So press into those hands, coming into a nice little downward dog. Just real quick. Take a little moment and pedal it out. Excellent. Look towards the front of your mat and hop, step, jump, or tiptoe into a nice forward fold. Letting the body hang heavy. You can have a nice bend to your knees, helping release that low back. That feels so good. Your legs can be straight-ish, just not hyperextended. If you want to get into those hamstrings a little bit more. You can give the back end of the body a little bit of love. Maybe you give it a few little pats. Maybe you give it a little massage. Notice, are you holding tension in your neck? You're probably trying to look up at the screen a little bit. Just take a little moment, let that head go, give it a nice shake. No. Let it feel really good. Excellent. Let's inhale. Nice little halfway lift. Roll those shoulders back and down. Just hanging out here just for a moment, finding that length. We're going to try to get into the hamstring and the IT band. And so bending through that left knee, the right leg will naturally start to straighten. You've now made a little shelf for your left elbow. And the option to simply hang out here, you might be feeling lots through that right hip. Just here. If you want to keep adding, you've noticed with that elbow down, you're adding in a little bit of a twist. So if you want to accentuate that, start to bring that right arm, either hand on the hip, if that feels really good, or maybe you're reaching that hand all the way up. Your choice. Just simply holding here for a breath or two. Starting to really feel things through that right side of the body. I'm going to bring my hand back onto my hip. Or even in kind of the low back area. Letting it feel real good. Excellent. Doreen, are you out of here? Did I miss that? Have a lovely day. Thanks for joining in on half. Thanks for saying goodbye. All right, one more nice big inhale. And exhale. Start to just let the body fold forward and hang down. Legs either, both knees either bend or both knees be straight. And just have them doing the same thing to feel that little bit of release. And kind of bend one knee in the next. You need to add a little more release in there. Excellent. Let's come into the other side. So find your stillness. You can take that inhale, come halfway up, and roll those shoulders back and down. Take a moment here and actually find lots of length here. This is really good, helping support that low back. And then bring a bend to that right knee, making that little shelf either for your elbow. You can also keep your hand down on it if that is more accessible. And you can simply, if your hand is on your knee opposed to your elbow, adding that little rotation, trying to kind of spin or push that hip out towards the left, we'll start to get into that for you. Even out to the left and back, just a touch, just be mindful of your knee. Or elbow plants in. So to add that rotation, maybe planting the hand on the hip, or maybe hand reaches up. And keep those ears far from the shoulders. Find all of that length through the back line of that left leg, through that hip, letting it feel really good. I know I did these yesterday. If you redid yesterday's class on the replay, I just really love them. But I can do a pose 2 days in a row. We do Shavasana every time, so. So good. Connecting in, taking another breath or two. Nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. And start to untwist, squaring those shoulders back off with the ground, and just let the body hang heavy. Arms can come into a little dangle. So good. All right, let's journey all the way up here. But first, let's come up halfway. So take a little inhale. Planting the hands either above or below the knee. Roll the shoulders back and down. This is a great way to prevent dizziness. Make sure the head has time to recalibrate with its blood flow, with the heart. And then the knees just sink, the hips. Press all the way up to standing, reaching those arms up nice and tall. Reach it up. So tall. Exhale. Hands to heart. Beautiful. And step those right toes back. And coming just to like a warrior one position. So the foot plants all the way down. And get that heel all the way down. So it's almost like you're keeping that same stance. Feet are hip distance apart. One is farther back, whereas when we come into that warrior two, we align our feet together. And so you have space there. If you're struggling with balance, you can even bring the feet more mat distance apart. And that'll help. And then add a bend to that left leg. And then sweep those arms up. And coming right into our nice little boss arms. So interlacing them behind the head, not pushing the head forward though. And keep that head in a nice neutral position. If you're prone to doing that, just bring the fingertips to the ears. Trying to find openness through the shoulder. And so as you're bending through the knee here, odds are you're feeling this through the right hip, maybe through those hip flexors. They're getting a nice stretch here. Notice, are you pushing those ribs out? And can you pull everything in, stacking shoulders over hips? Everything's nicely aligned. Take a nice big inhale breath. Exhale. Nice and strong, pressing into the feet. See if you can find that nice balance of strength and softness. So you're holding the power there, but can you also find that little relax? Excellent. Just keep holding here. And for one more breath, feeling how the hips are squared towards the front of the room. Keep rolling that left hip back, probably ever so slightly. Keep pushing that right hip forward. And let's release, bring the arms back down. And coming into our warrior two. So we're starting to open up towards the side and start to spin those right toes towards the long edge of the mat. And odds are you'll probably need to bring that foot a little bit farther back and bring it in line on the same plane as that left foot. And keeping a bend to that left knee. And simply just hanging out here, you can bring the hands on the hips for that little bit of awareness, or even a hand onto the knee, left knee and right hip. So imagine trying to add some extra distance here, finding some openness through the hips. So that's only the goal here. Try to keep the knee in line with the foot. So whether it's a little bit straighter for more ease, or whether you're in that full bend, your choice. But as long as it's in that same plane, you're doing good, you're protecting that knee. The whole goal is to spin that right hip open. Feeling that openness. Notice the ribs, are they floating out? Can you stay nice and strong? So today is all about the legs and our warrior. If you want more for the arms and for the shoulders, you can reach those arms out. Letting it feel really good. We're just hanging out down here. So we're building strength here. We're working on that quad. Working that bend in the left knee. Make sure you're pressing not just to the inside edge of that extended leg of that right toe, but also the pinky edge of it. Pressing into the entirety of the foot. Let's give this leg a little break here, straightening through the leg. Pressing into the feet equally though. And exhale, bring it back down. And so we spent a little time feeling the stretch, feeling that openness of the hip. Let's add that little movement though. So we'll take a couple of those pulses, straightening through the leg, and adding a bend in. Nice, straighten, and bend. We'll take two more. And just feeling that little massage on the right side maybe, or not. That's where I'm feeling it. I've lost count. I think I threw an extra one in there just because it feels good. And then let's play around here with the legs straight-ish, so not hyperextending through the knees. Imagine the lifting of the kneecaps, and then just start to tip. We always kick the hip out to the side before we go our triangle pose, so just kind of come into that, but we're not going into it, and then kick the hip the other way. Imagine you're doing reverse triangle, which I haven't done for a while, but you can just imagine. We're just moving through And it's kind of fun because we have our feet in opposite directions here. So just building some of that awareness, working on lengthening some of those hip flexors. Just a little tick-tock back and forth. Beautiful. Let's kick that hip out towards the right. Might as well reach it forward. So taking that moment, really finding that length, and keep reaching forward a little more. Keep rolling that right shoulder back. Keep reaching and reaching until you feel that gentle pull on the hamstring. And then you drop your left hand down. Right hand can hang out on the hip, or you can start to reach it up. Finding your nice little triangle pose. I love these. I think they're fun. Mind you, I think I could say that for almost every pose. There's times where I even think like all the core work we do is fun. Exhale. Drop that hand. Bring a huge bend into that left knee. Let's come all the way back up. Straighten through the leg. And then simply switch our feet towards the other side. So now we're facing the back of the mat. Ooh, wild and crazy. Right toe is pointing towards that short little edge. Left toes, keep rotating them all the way back into that warrior one stance. Maybe take a little hop and adjust the feet, squaring the hips towards the back of the mat. Rolling right hip back, pushing the left hip forward, and start to add a bend into that right leg. Beautiful. Starting to hang out here. Let's bring those arms up, interlacing so it feels like that awkward handshake. And the hands can tuck in behind the head. I'm still trying to stack shoulders over hips and pulling those ribs in. And pressing into the legs. Start to add a little bit of resistance. So you can't just hang out here all loosey-goosey. But if you really start to press into the feet, you'll feel that engagement through all the muscles. And then roll that right hip back. Press that left hip forward. Feel it through those left hip flexors, maybe even into the quads. Odds are you'll feel it mostly in the hip flexors though. Connecting in, take that nice big inhale. And an exhale, so nice and strong. Keep holding here. And if you need to make it a little bit easier, you can always straighten through the leg a little bit. Or you can keep sinking if you want a little more challenge. One more nice big inhale. And a nice full exhale. So strong. And pressing in. And let's start to straighten through that front leg. You can release the hands down. And let's find that openness. So right now I have shoulders and hips squared towards the front. Let's open things up. Coming into that warrior two. Left toes point towards the long edge of the mat. Maybe give them a little hop. I love that how even if I take the gentlest movement, I'm going to shake the camera. It's balancing on an empty box, so that's why. So hands just hanging out on the hips for that warrior two, or maybe bring your right hand down to the knee, just to keep reminding it to find that openness, to keep pushing backwards. And the left hip tries to spin open. So I have no rules or guidelines for how much they should spin open. I understand hips are different. Pelvises are shaped differently for everyone. As long as you're keeping the knee in line with the foot, so not necessarily over top of, but not falling inwards or outwards of the foot. Take a nice inhale and lengthen. Exhale, press so strong into the feet, feeling that nice connection through the entirety of the left foot, pressing into the heel and the toes of the right foot, finding some of that strength. Beautiful, letting it feel oh so good. Inhale and lengthen through the spine. Can you find some openness through that collarbone? Maybe even just work on tucking the elbows behind the body, trying to make it visible. So good. Let's give that leg a nice little break, straightening through the leg. Excellent. And let's work on that little tick-tock. So kick the hip out to the left, and just like you would do for your triangle pose, come back to center, and bring it more towards the right. And just move a little bit back and forth and sensing into all of those muscles. And keep that tuck of the pelvis, keep that tailbone tucking under to really protect that low back. And feel how you need to move through some of that, feeling that nice engagement. Still stretchy, just a little bit as we kind of stretch out and pulse some of these. Lots of strengthening today. So good. All right. You can find your neutral and then kick the hip out towards the left. Reach that right arm forward. Give yourself a nice thumbs up. Pressing into the feet nice and strong. Keep reaching forward. Reach a little bit more. Reach even just a touch more so that you're feeling it on that right leg. Drop that hand down. Roll that left shoulder open. And the hand can reach up. Extending the head so far away from the shoulders. You have so much length there. Pressing into the legs. They're still nice and strong. Letting it feel really good. Excellent. Nice big inhale. And an exhale. Beautiful. You can bring that top arm back down onto the hip. Should that feel better? And let's add a huge bend to that right leg, pressing into the feet. Let's come on back up. Straighten through the right leg. Both toes now point towards the long edge of the mat. Take an inhale breath, roll the shoulders back and down on that exhale. Palms face forward. Inhale, reach those arms up nice and tall. Beautiful little star pose. Exhale. Hands tuck in on the small of the back, those invisible jean pockets, and spin the toes out ever so slightly. So we're on a bit of an angle here, just kind of working with the bend of the knees, the direction that they would be going, and getting ready to come into our little goddess pose. So we're lengthening first, we're protecting that low back with our hands, and then we're just going to bend the knees and sit on down. Feel that tuck of the tailbone under. Sitting nice and strong if you want, and you're feeling stable. You can bring your hands onto that little crease of the hips. You can stay up nice and high if you just want to add a gentle bend, or you can really work on sinking it down. Keep those shoulders over the hips though. You'll feel so much openness through those hips as you sink a little lower, nice and strong. Take a nice big inhale. And an exhale, press into the feet, press all the way back up. Reach the arms up, that helps find that length. Reach it up. Exhale, hands to heart center, just pressing in. And let's spin those toes back towards that long edge of the mat. Take that inhale breath. Then exhale with a nice flat back, roll those shoulders back and down, and start to bow forward. Coming into your wide-legged forward fold. So if you only come halfway or less than halfway, that's fine. You can hang out planting the hands on the knees. You can even add that gentle bend into the knees or hands on the hips, or your choice. And keep folding a little farther down. You can adjust the feet however you need them, heel toeing them out or in. Pushing those sits bones high up in the air, feeling that nice crease. Nice little forward fold. Drop that head down, relaxing it. Pressing into the inside edge of the foot as well as the outside edge. Letting it feel really good. If you can get your fingertips down to the ground or onto a block, just something to help stabilize. I often like to roll the weight into my toes, almost lifting my heels off, and then roll the weight into my heels, almost lifting my toes off. So just rolling back and forth, waking up the feet. You can do so also by walking the hands forward if you're not on a block, walking the hands back. And just sensing into the feet where you need to find that little bit of balance. Take that nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. And let's journey on up nice and slow. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Let's come on up halfway, bringing the head just above the heart. Taking a big inhale, exhale, pressing into the feet, coming all the way up. If you want, you can reach those arms up because it just feels like you can't do that without doing this nice little star pose. And drop the hands down. And let's step towards the top of the mat, pointing left toes forward. Take a nice big step. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, forward fold, bowing it down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees so you can plant the hands. And take that nice big step back. And just a quick little downward dog to stretch out through those arms. And releasing through that spine. Let's drop the knees down. Coming all the way down. Spinning around. Finding yourself in that nice reclined position. Taking a little sip of coffee before you roll down. Whatever you need. Knees bent, feet planted. Whenever you make yourself here, roll those shoulders back and down. Feel all that openness through the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Maybe even have palms facing up. And take an inhale, breath and lengthen. Extend long through the crown of the head. Maybe you would press gently into the feet to find some more length. And exhale. Pull that belly button in towards the spine. And gently pressing into the feet, just lifting the hips up. Here's our little back bend for the day. Is a wonderful little bridge pose. You feel that openness through the front line of the body. You want a little more, you can have palms facing down, pressing into the hands, pressing into the shoulders. Your choice for how high up you come. I'm hanging out at like 60%. So no pressure to do the full thing, but if you want it, go for it. Take it, it's yours. One more big breath, remembering to breathe and keep those knees in line with the feet and the hips. And let's roll things down nice and slow. Taking that little exhale. I noticed a few little cracks and pops all the way down the spine, so just adjusting. A little bit of air being released, it's all good. And I'm going to bring left ankle onto right knee. I'll just send that left knee back to start off with. Finding that little pull through the left hip. Feeling that nice little connection. And then just relax through the leg. And when you're ready, float that right leg up, reaching on for either knee and foot of that left foot. Top of right knee. Or you can reach for back of the thigh on that right side. Next level from there is underneath top of shin. However, you need to hold on to the legs, pull the legs in towards the chest, and to try to keep the head and the shoulders nice and relaxed. You're welcome to take a little movement if you want to find that little rock from side to side. And try to still keep that chin tucked in. It's really normal for the nose or the chin to be pointing up here. Let's not overarch through that. Let's find that little correction in our posture. Nice little reclined pigeon. If you really want the full pigeon on your front, you're welcome to spin around and take that. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths. So if you're like, man, I just hate that we always do reclined pigeon. I want the full thing. You can go for it if it's in your practice and you know where you're going with it. If not, just hang out here. We are getting into pretty much the same muscles without adding our body weight on top of that knee. So I just always like to protect that. You're welcome to send those right toes up into the sky and add a little flex to those right toes if you still want to stretch it to that hamstring. Feels really good. But lots of times if we just bring the right toes up and we don't actually pull that right leg in enough to keep feeling that stretch on the left side. So playing around with that, if you just want the hamstring stretch, and odds are the toes or the feet are just hanging out more in that stacked over the hips. Or if you still want to feel that through the left hip, being able to pull the leg in a little farther is helpful for that. Connecting in here and taking 1 or 2 more rounds of breath. Nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. Using that exhale to soften. See if you can release just a touch more tension. Excellent. I'm going to bring a bend back to that right leg. And then I'm actually just going to release my foot and I'm going to send that right heel all the way down towards the edge of the mat. So I still have my left knee bent and ankle hanging out on top. I'm going to reach my arms out, just coming into a different variety of twist from our pigeon, and I'm going to roll onto my right side, planting my left foot in towards the ground. Right leg is nice and extended. Option to keep that knee up, that left knee up, or to let the left knee start to fall towards the ground. Just a little variety on the twist. This one is actually a little bit harder, so odds are your left shoulder is starting to float up. That's okay. That feels really good. Just bring the hand in a little bit closer to the body so that that shoulder isn't up at that weird angle where it's pulling awkwardly on some of those tendons in there. Just helping protect it. Take a nice big inhale breath. Seeing if you can still breathe using that diaphragm. Use that exhale. See if you can soften. Letting go of some of that tension. One more nice big inhale. A nice full exhale. Starting to nice and slowly untwist, rolling back onto your back. Planting the feet down, bring them back in. You can take a little windshield wiper to release between sides. Maybe really gentle, just a little wave of the knees. You're going to really drop knees down one side to the next. Maybe you notice the difference between one side and the other side. Let's find that stillness. Bring the feet in. Taking that right ankle now, bring it onto the left knee and push that right knee open, pushing it backwards, feeling that gentle little push and pull through that right hip. Connecting in with that breath. Letting it feel good. Take that little release, but keeping the same shape. And then when you're ready, starting to float that left leg up. Reach it on to either right ankle and knee. We're reaching through. Grab it on wherever you like to. Try to keep that chin just so nicely tucked. You can take a little rock from side to side. Lots of fun variations you could take here. If you want that full pigeon, flip on over, kick into it. So good. I don't know, I feel like this is like my favorite hip opening move. If you have a favorite that we do, drop it in the comments after class. Maybe I'll throw it in on Thursday's class. I feel so greedy teaching online. I feel like we only get to do my favorite things, but I try to throw in things that I don't love, that I know are so important, that people also enjoy. Get some of those left toes up. Maybe you flex that foot. Maybe you really pull the legs in. Try to stay relaxed with the shoulders through the head. Notice, are you even clenching your teeth? How are the face muscles doing? Feeling that nice little connection. Keep trying to pull that leg in. If you want that stretch on the hip, or if you just want to focus on the hamstring for a little moment, that's a great option too. Nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. We'll take 1 or 2 more little breaths here. Start to bring a bend to that leg. Or if your leg's extended, you're more than welcome to just release the leg, lowering it all the way down. So that left leg is extended long. The right leg is just hanging out on top. You reach those arms out for that nice little T position and start to roll onto that left hip. Regular right leg all the way over. Left leg is still extending long. You're trying to keep that right shoulder still planted in. It might be floating up a little bit. You might just place a, oh, I have a block right here. This is so perfect. Bring that left hand on the legs. Beautiful. Nice little twist, little rotation for the spine. Just letting it feel really good. I feel like my pants are glowing. Thank you, sunlight. Beautiful. Taking one or two more breaths here. Use that inhale. See if you can still breathe into that diaphragm. Yeah, there's a little restriction from the twist. Use that exhale. See if you could soften. Are you still squeezing tension through that right hip? I always do. I actually have to take that audible exhale in a twist to start to soften and let it go. Beautiful. Let's start to release and untwist. Coming back towards that center. Hugging the knees in towards the chest. Just resetting that spine. Maybe round your head up. Started enjoying these. I used to hate them, mostly because they just always made me feel so fat. I really like them now. So as I get my spine off the ground, when they start to roll back down, oh, this is where the magic's at. Then I just feel my spine and all its length in each of the vertebrae, just like when you come out of bridge pose. It's like the opposite of that because it's all the upper spine muscles and whatnot getting that little massage. So if you want to finish in that nice happy baby, reach on through for the feet, the ankles, the back of the knees, the great toe, whatever you like to hold on to. And bring the feet up towards the ceiling, knees draw in towards the body. If you want, you can add that little resistance, resetting the spine, pulling into the feet, kicking into the hands, extending the crown of the head oh so long, maybe the head floats up off the ground a little bit. So much tension, so much length, and exhale. Find that softness. And start to play around with your freestyle. So if there's another pose or movement you would love to do, you're welcome to play around with it now. This is your time to be creative, to embrace that playfulness. Before we settle into Shavasana, you're like, oh, I really wish we would have done blah, blah, blah. Here is your moment to do blah, blah, blah. Yes, that is the official term for it. Taking some time. If you're doing something on one side, if you wanted a different twist or really whatever you're doing, make sure you balance it out and get both sides done. Starting that transition. Or if you are ready to just settle into that Shavasana, you are welcome to do so now. Or whatever. So good. Beautiful. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, start to find your final pose. I'm going to roll up to seated so I can kind of talk you guys through. Whatever position you find yourself in, see if you can roll those shoulders back and down. See if you can still create that little bit of space through the collarbone, letting it feel good. Noticing how the body feels now after a little bit of movement. Can you sense into it? Noticing, was there a change? There might not be. Might be the same. Might be different. But it's that awareness, that cultivating of awareness. That's where the power lies. If you can start to notice little subtleties like that, like the difference between your hips before and after class or whatever might have been sore or tight, that gives you so much power. And noticing and being aware of other little changes that happen around you, so that you can become more intuitive to the environment, but also that works with your pituitary, that's the word. And as you're getting into some of those areas of the brain, that extra awareness and cultivating that and stuff like that helps fight things or help you cope with things like depression and anxiety and some of those more extreme things that we seem to be living in a lot today. We often have a hard time, especially when those things are consecutive. Having a couple moments of anxiety is one thing, but feeling like you're living in it is a whole other ballgame. And so building that awareness, which is one thing that yoga does, which I really love, can actually help you get through that and strengthen that. So building that awareness even here in our little Shavasana, and then let's connect in with the breath to help finish off class. So let's take 3 big inhale breaths that exhale to an audible sigh. Yes, you can still be laying down. I rolled up so I can chat with you guys. Let's take that nice big inhale, breathing in all the way into the diaphragm. Huge breath in, lengthening. Exhale, let's sigh it out. Letting it feel really good. I always do an A vowel sound. You're welcome to take any vowel sound you love. Take that big inhale breath. Maybe you play around. Big inhale. Oh. It's me trying to do O's. One more nice big inhale, breathing it in. Huge breath in. Let's just sigh it out, letting it go. Big exhale breath. Beautiful. I'll leave you there to finish off your Shavasana however you so desire, taking all the time you need. I pray that you have just a beautiful rest of your day filled with little moments of joy, and I hope that you are always blessed. Thank you, and namaste. Beautiful.